Hello, everyone. I am Camille Miller of the Natural Life Business Partnership, and you are on NLBP-TV. We're doing a member spotlight today with Dr. Jodi Dinnerman of Light Source Chiropractic of Princeton, New Jersey, and Clinton, New Jersey, and as I hear, soon to be Morristown, New Jersey. Thank you, Jodi, for joining us today.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So Jodi's been a member for quite some time. And kind of back, but I follow you on Facebook. So I see all these great videos that you do if they're running or adjusting little babies. So I thought it would be a terrific interview just to kind of have you on and talk about a different approach to chiropractic. So one of the first things I wanted to, actually, why don't you first introduce yourself and say a little bit about your background, and then we'll talk about your practice and how it might be a little different from other people with the same title.
Sure. So I have been a chiropractor for 18 years on Monday, this past Monday, and I've served over 120,000 adjustments in those years.
Wow.
And I have two practices, one in Clinton and one in Princeton. And my specialty is working with moms who are looking to give more to their families through good health choices. I have two boys, Kai and Quinn. And I'm married to my best friend we've been together for 26 years. Mm-hmm. And I do what I love, and I love what I do.
Awesome. So when we talk about chiropractic, and this is one of the reasons I thought it would be great to have you on, there are so many different types of chiropractic medicine, is what it looks like. I'm assuming that there are different schools of thought through chiropractic. Can you talk a little bit about the different schools of thought, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. I really appreciate the question because it is definitely the plague of my craft, how confused people, the general public, are when it comes to the word chiropractic. Chiropractic was founded on tone over 100 years ago, and what we do is we serve the body to integrate something called subluxation. And a subluxation simply means that there's stress stuck in the nerve system, the central nerve system, due to physical, emotional, chemical stresses. And when we're subluxated, the body doesn't perform optimally. And in adults, we can have 0 signals to every signal in the book that we're subluxated. And in kids, usually subluxation makes a lot of noise. And it looks like ADD, asthma, colic, allergies, ear infections, constipation, bedwetting, all of these things. Mm-hmm. And then there are plenty of kids who are subluxated and don't have any symptoms at all. And when they get adjusted, they just feel more comfortable in their skin, and they feel that the computer of their body is working clearer. Within chiropractic, there are a lot of chiropractors who don't even know what subluxation are. So they're called chiropractic physicians because that's the doctorate that they received in school. However, what they do is everything out there that chiropractors are allowed to do, whether it's physical therapy or nutrition or osteopathic manipulations. Mm-hmm. But chiropractic in and of itself does one thing, and it addresses vertebral subluxation so that the body can be optimized. Within that box, so that's the straight chiropractic box, mm-hmm. There are people that use all different kinds of techniques, but what we have in common is our intention is the same. And our intention is to restore power to the central nerve system through the adjustment. There are chiropractors who do that with tools. There are chiropractors who do that with a lot of force. There are chiropractors who do that with instrumentation and x-rays. And then where I hang out is I'm very sensitive to the amount of force that I use because my education tells me that if you are mindful of the amount of force you use and when you use it, the body will heal a lot more effectively. So the work that I use is called biogeometric integration, or BGI, and I've been studying it for a long time. And the approach of BGI is understanding, if I'm going to put a force in this body, I want to know where it's going to go, and I want to know how it's going to affect the overall system, as it's just opposed to moving a bone to move a bone.
Beautiful. So I assume that that is a separate teaching above your chiropractic teaching? Like you.
So some schools actually, at this point, some schools are teaching concepts of BGI, okay. Not many. However, so I went to Sherman College of Straight Chiropractic in South Carolina, and it's the only completely straight chiropractic school that I know of. I haven't been in the school world in years now.
Yeah.
So what we learned in chiropractic school was chiropractic. However, if you go to a school, some of the other schools, they don't even learn chiropractic. However, they leave school with a doctorate in chiropractic. So it really is a very confusing profession, which is why so many people who come into my office are misinformed on what chiropractors do and don't do. Okay.
So, generally speaking, a chiropractor, or what you do, is align the body for optimal use. Is that a good definition?
Yeah. So I look at it a little bit, I appreciate what you just said, and I look at it a little bit differently. So we're made of about 70% water, right? Mm-hmm. That's what our body is made of. And my understanding is that if you push on water, it should move. And if it doesn't move, there's force that's stuck. And because we're 70% water, if I see a 3-year-old whose neck doesn't move when I push on it, I know that anything in this area is going to be affected by whatever stress is stuck. She may have chronic sore throats. She may have neck issues. She may not feel any symptoms at all, because we only feel 10% of our body. The other 90% of our nerve system is all about coordination and function, which usually we don't feel. Mm-hmm. I like to see the body as a moving system, and stresses can get stuck. And as my job as a chiropractor is to give the most easeful, gentle adjustment to get it moving and keep it moving, so that all of the coordination and controlling is happening at 100%. Our saying at Light Source Chiropractic is, the power that made the body heals the body every time. It just needs the room to do so. So chiropractic is not medicine. It's a way to enunciate or to liberate the healing power that we're born with, which is our innate intelligence.
So I would assume that most people start a chiropractic journey, if were brought up in it, because they're in pain. Something went wrong. Allopathic medicine couldn't do anything, and they're like, okay, I'll just try this, like as a last resort kind of thing. Other than the pain, which I'm sure you can clear and have a lot to work on, you mentioned things like asthma and bedwetting and sore throats. And how would someone come to you and say, my child has a bedwetting problem? They're 14 years old and this is an issue. Is that something that they would seek you out for? And is that something that you
That's a great question. Yeah. So, when people come to me with, everybody has pain in their body. We're going to have pain until the day we're done on this earth, because that's how our body signals to us, right? So I always say to people, it sucks that you're in pain. It's not fun. It definitely limits you. And it's your body's way of signaling to you that you need to pay attention to it. If you have lower back pain, slow down, rest, put your feet up, or start moving, lose your belly, whatever it might be. So my job is not to delete the symptoms or signals. It's to make sure that the innate intelligence is 100% moving in that picture, so that whatever the body's trying to do, it has as much room and power to do it. So a lot of people hear about me from friends and family, and most of the patients who come to see me don't necessarily have a problem. They just want to be as healthy as possible.
Okay.
And a lot of that is because of my messaging and the way that I market my practice. You know, I talk a lot about light and love and healing and vitality and energy and joy, right? My marketing isn't about back pain, headaches, neck pain. You'll never see that on any of my flyers or brochures because that's not what I'm focused on. However, there are a lot of chiropractors who have big signs on their storefront that says, "We fix back pain." That's just not what I do. And sometimes that back pain is a warning signal and could save a life. If somebody's appendix was about to explode, you want to have back pain. So who am I to say, oh, that pain is wrong, the body doesn't know what it's doing? My job is to say, A, do I need to hear this person out? Is this person safe in this moment if they're in that much pain? And B, what's the signal? And how can I teach this person to start the conversation with their body to really listen to what the signal is trying to tell them? Mm-hmm. Never is my intention to make their pain go away, because I don't know how to do that. I don't know that anybody knows how to do that, unless you're like a bottle of Advil.
Love that. But when you talk about, so some of the other issues you talked about though, the bedwetting, the asthma, the sore throat, how are you treating that? Is it still an adjustment idea?
Yep. So if you brought your daughter to me and you said that she was having anxiety issues and she wasn't sleeping and her heart was doing this a lot, I would say, cool, let's find where her subluxations are, help the body to integrate what's stuck. And my bottom dollar, I would bet that her body's going to figure out how to heal this as long as we take out the stressors that are bombarding her, right? Mm-hmm. So if a 3-year-old comes to me and they're having bedwetting, I've actually had 10, 15-year-olds come to me with bedwetting issues, and I say the same thing. Cool. Let's find out where the body is luxated, how that's affecting their overall health, and what stressors we can take out of the picture. Now, I'll find subluxation, and we have a chart called the Merrick chart in chiropractic. It's on my website. I can search into it. And it's when you're subluxated here, you tend to have these symptoms or signals here, right? And that's a tend to be, but always I'm educating my patients. I'm not a bedwetting doctor, and I'm not an ear infection doctor. I find your subluxation, and I'll tell you, that has been, if I could scream from the rooftops, I would, to try to get people to believe in the power of their body. That's probably been the hardest thing about being a chiropractor in this lifetime, is just educating and educating and educating until I'm blue in the face, but I'll keep doing it because I'm totally committed to it.
Love it. Love it. So I would assume that when you started clearing those blocks, other things would get clear that they didn't think about.
Yeah, like Jodi, I got in my car and I could see color, or I could smell flowers. I didn't even know I couldn't smell flowers. So we experience our nerve system through our senses, right? Sense of smell, touch, taste, sound, and sight. So if your nerve system is stuck and the signals going to your eyes or your ears or your nose or your throat are stuck, and you get adjusted and now you're unstuck, you're going to go in your car and your experience is going to be different. Wow. Even if your intention was to come to my office because your big foot hurt or whatever it is, I see all kinds of things. I always say to people, whatever is stuck inside comes out. So you may feel like crying. You may feel like going and hugging your best friend. You may feel like throwing up. You may feel like blowing your nose. Anything is possible when it comes to the nerve system. And it's not my job to regulate that or control that. Okay.
So let's talk about if whoever that is did that. Is it a one-time thing? Do they constantly come back? It is a weekly protocol? Is it, one time and they're done and then you work on the next issue? How does that work?
3 times a week for life.
Okay.
And they're $10,000 each. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. So I've been getting adjusted twice a month for the past 26 years. And that's my momentum. After about a week and a half. What will happen is you'll get to know what having a clear nerve system looks like for you.
Okay.
And when your nerve system becomes subluxated, certain signals will start coming back. For me, those signals are, I get clumsy. I start losing my words. Like I'll try to say something and I'll trip on what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reactive. So if my kid asks me for something and I'm doing 5 things, I snap at him instead of having that calmness and stillness in my body, right? Then I know I got to go get adjusted, right? It's not for me about physical symptoms. It's more about my nerve system some people, they get a migraine. Some people, their sinus issues come, whatever it is. So wellness care usually in Light Source Chiropractic world, once every couple weeks for adults and about once a month for kids. So what I say to all my moms is we do, in general, we do fevers and falls care for kids 5 years old and younger, which means if they have a big fever, like a big heat movement through the body, or if they have a fall, whether it's physical, emotional, or chemical fall, then bring them in, let me check them for subluxation. And if they're not subluxated, they don't get adjusted that day. And that happens. Okay. So once every few weeks, once a month, for life. I mean, forever, my kids will get adjusted and forever I'll have a chiropractor.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So I know in your particular practice, you specialize in pregnant women, children, and I definitely have seen you do a lot of newborns. So tell us about that a little bit, your practice, not only why you've chosen that, but, starting the kids that young or being part of that family chiropractic idea.
Yeah, so I adjust kids because I really like them and I want them to be fully optimized. I want them to be fueled up for a great life. There's such a thing as a chiropractic kid, and they don't get things like ear infections and strep throat and the flu. And if they do get those things, it looks a lot different than the kid who grows up without chiropractic. Things don't go chronic and they don't this is very I'm generalizing.
Right.
They don't turn into itises, these inflammatory, they're just healthier. Their nerve systems have 100% nerve flow. So that's one thing. The other thing is that a lot of the babies that I take care of, I'm taking care of mom through the whole pregnancy, and she's seeing other babies getting adjusted. And we start them from the minute they're born. We check them for subluxation. And again, if they're not subluxated, we don't adjust them because there's nothing to adjust. Some babies are born subluxation free. It doesn't generally happen though, because a lot of babies have a pretty intense birth process. There are a lot of midwives and doulas that I work with that are within the home birth world. And a lot of these babies I check and they're adjusting me. They're just so clear and so connected. The other cool thing I want to note is that sometimes I'll have someone around my age, in their 40s, 50s, maybe even their 30s, who grew up with chiropractic, and their body and even if they haven't gotten adjusted in 20 years, their body feels totally different than somebody who didn't grow up with chiropractic. So these are the things that the joy of being in practice for 18 years is the experience that comes with it. And when I get to see these things create patterns year after year, then I know those things for sure, right? There's a lot of things that I have no idea, and I'm the first to admit I don't know. But one thing I know for sure is that if chiropractic is part of a kid's life, they're better for it. I know that that's true because I see it clinically. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen you adjust some babies on video that either had the sucking problem or all sorts of different things I've seen you do. It's quite interesting, actually. I would have never thought of it. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to have you on. So, so is there anything that you wanted to add that I didn't ask you about chiropractic, or a frequently asked question that we could clear the air on a little bit?
The hardest thing about being a chiropractor, or really having a specialty in any field that works with people, is people have preconceived notions of what you do. So there are a lot of people, there are a lot of different kinds of chiropractors out there, and most of them are incredible people. There are some people who come to my practice and they're not a fit for me. I don't feel that I can serve them. And I have a list of women chiropractors and male chiropractors in the area that I'll refer out to. So I would say do your homework when you're searching for a new healthcare practitioner. There's no body that doesn't need a chiropractor. Everybody should. You have a dentist to take care of your teeth. You have an ophthalmologist to take care of your eyes. Somebody should be taking care of your central nerve system. It runs your body. And even if you go to your chiropractor for symptom-based care, hey, at least you have a chiropractor in your back pocket. Ideally, you're getting adjusted regularly to make sure that you're not subluxated. And trust your gut. You know, when you walk into somebody's office, it should feel right. And women specifically, especially if you're a mom, your gut always knows. And you walk into an office, it doesn't feel right, you got to turn around and walk out. And that's true for any office that you walk into. It needs to feel right. It needs to feel like, yep, this is someone I want to serve me and my family.
Understood. Great. So this will be on YouTube forever. Be very evergreen for us.
YouTube. Love wins, baby.
It'll also live on our podcast, which goes out to about 25 broadcast channels. So if someone wants to get in touch with you after hearing this and about your work, that's the best way to do that.
So my website is lightsourcechiropractic.com. My office phone number is 908-238-1081. We have an office in Princeton right next door to the Whole Earth Center. We're also in downtown Clinton, and we're soon to be opening in Morristown inside of CrossFit Morristown, which is such an exciting piece that we're bringing to our picture.
Yeah, and Dr. Jodi is from the state of New Jersey, just for those of you that are hearing this later. Well, I just want to thank you for coming out and giving us a little member spotlight and talking about your business and your practice. I appreciate your time. For those of you that are listening to us, please check out all of our other member spotlights and all the things that we have going on NLBP-TV, and let us know what you'd like to hear next. Jodi, thank you so much.
I'd also like to say, if I can, Camille, I'm so impressed with how you have taken the vision of this idea and brought it into fruition. You are a rock star, 100%, and I'm really, really proud of what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're one of my early supporters, and I appreciate that too.
You got it anytime.
Thank you. All right, we're going to end the recording. So thanks everyone for joining.